Hey friends, Laura here from the Breathing Room. I want to share with you the number one mistake that smart, savvy women make when they say their drinking isn't a problem and they could give up any time, but secretly don't actually know if they really could. Welcome back to the Smart Savvy series, the stories of self-sabotage and how to unlearn habits that keep kicking you in the butt. It's all about redefining our success, unlearning habits that keep you from living your best life. Your past does not define you. A few new smart moves and your future will be redefined. So let me share you a story. There's probably so many stories actually of over the past 20 years that I could share to highlight the fact that I was a high functioning, smart, savvy woman who had everything going for her, but she was in complete denial that drinking was a problem. I could drink 2 to 3 bottles of champagne at a wedding without being completely legless. I could finish a bottle of rum by myself on a work day and go to work the next day. I could drink a few beers, a few wines, switch back to the beers, switch to the spirits, and get up and go to boot camp the next morning. In my career from my 30s, I worked in financial services and agricultural sectors where events and networking were all alcohol laden. I was always part of the boys club and I used to pride myself on being able to, drink someone under the table. But I did have a strong work ethic, and that was play hard, work hard. I couldn't see it at the time though, but drinking was actually ruining my relationships. The two things that went hand in hand for me, drinking and smoking. Let's make it three things: drinking, smoking. Infidelity was a key one for me, but I was also a high achiever who was constantly looking for approval, validation, attention, and love in all the wrong places. Nobody likes to admit that their alcohol use is a problem because we want to appear stable and we want to maintain this impression that our lives are unaffected by our alcohol use. But throughout those years, I did not see my behaviors as a result of drinking as a problem. Some of the signs of high functioning alcoholic is using alcohol for confidence, drinking in excess, more than just binge drinking once a week, skiving off work, so not turning up to work on the days that you should because you're either hungover or you're still drinking, drinking till sun up, or you're drinking till very late at night and then really just don't have the energy to show up the next day. Blackouts and not being able to remember anything. I was using alcohol so that I could feel better, so I could avoid this feeling of feeling unfulfilled, feeling bored, feeling disappointed, feeling alone. The avoidance of negative emotions or processing, negative emotions was and is still a pattern for me, because we all have it. Like, I'm a human too. I still have this pattern of avoidance of feeling negative emotions. But alcohol is a coping mechanism that really just helps to, smooth over those feelings. We use alcohol as a way to manage our external stresses and to numb out, or to take off the edge what is going on for us. I grew up thinking that alcohol made me more fun, and that's what people wanted. But waking up hungover as fuck in your 30s and 40s isn't so much fun, right? And you're like, anymore, it's not just not fun anymore. It gets harder to deny that although drinking might be a good idea at the time, the after effects just don't light you up in the same way as it used to, like in your teens or your 20s. But out of all the things that I would tell myself, my biggest desire was not to become an alcoholic. I did not want to be the person in her 40s that still argues belligerently, that says shit that she just doesn't mean, acts the fool, wakes up the next day forgetting most of what happened, cry miserably into the bottom of a bottle of wine, and then only to go back and do it all over again in a couple more nights. This was not the idea of being healthy, and it went all against all my values of integrity as a coach and a healer. I made the decision 3 years ago that I was going to try. I was going to try and give up drinking for a period of time to prove to myself that I wasn't an alcoholic, and that I could give it up if I really wanted to. So that's exactly what I did. I set myself a goal of 100 days without alcohol. And as soon as I set that goal, I could already feel the fear setting in. What if giving up alcohol actually ruins my relationship, my current marriage? Who am I without alcohol? What will I do for fun? There were all these questions that really made me want to quit before it even began. But that very first time in 2011, I got to 88 days without alcohol. So I did prove to myself that I could quit. And I knew that that was just the beginning. Fast forward 3 years after this first experiment, the first 100-day experiment, I quit for good. And it came about because of the work I had been doing around healing my relationship with my past and relational trauma. Not drinking was a solution, but what I discovered was that the root cause of drinking was wrapped up in my childhood beliefs of inadequacy, of wanting to be loved, and a really poor level of self-esteem that I just covered over really well with some liquid courage. I know, my friend, that there is a part of you that wants to stop, and there is a part of you that wants to keep going. Through my trauma certification, through the relational work that I had done, I learned that I had to engage both parts of me to uncover the truth about why drinking was so important to me. I'm going to share with you some of the parts work that I did that helped me unravel the truth about the part of me who was stubborn, strong-minded, and not willing to budge on this crazy idea of not drinking, or budging on the idea of being high functioning. I actually wrote this on the 21st of November, and I have been alcohol-free since that date. So I'm going to share this with you. This is what I wrote. My controller part is protecting my addiction part. My addiction part is protecting my rebellious part. My rebellious part is protecting my innocence part. My rebellious part is 15 years old, and my innocence part is 7 years old. My rebellious part wants to hurt her, being my mother. So she started drinking, smoking, quit school, left home, got pregnant at 16. She wanted to be grown up so that she could do things for herself without the authority of her. She wanted to numb out, not feeling like she was enough. She wanted to have fun, get out of her cage that her mother kept her in. She wanted to experience a life where no one could hurt her. She wanted to be free. My rebellious part still hates authority. She was always told what to do, and she was never asked. So I asked her, so the current person that I was when I wrote this, I asked her, what do you need right now? And her answer to me was, I don't know. So of course, a great coaching question to ask was, what if you did know? And when I gave her that space, she replied, then I guess I would need an outlet to be creative and have fun, where there's people and colour, fun things to see, to watch, to experience, to be part of. She doesn't want to be kept in a cage. She wants to be set free. She wants to be loud, disruptive, and seen as herself in a good way. She wants input. She wants attention. She no longer wants to have to keep this mode of protection up. It's a job she never really wanted to start with. When I wrote that, oh my goodness, I had such a heavy heart, and I felt really bad for the part, that 15-year-old part that I had ignored for so long. But what we did do is that we started a conversation with each other. And since that time, I have done a lot more work around healing and having more conversations with my inner child. There's different versions of her, the 7-year-old and the 15-year-old, and somewhere in between. I suppose the biggest epiphany that I had was that being high functioning isn't a problem yet. And the question would be, are you willing to have the conversation with that part of you that wants to become that person who you most desire? If you are willing to play with those parts of you that also might want to quit alcohol, for good because it no longer serves you or suits you. It's no longer something you want to wear, or it's completely out of integrity or in alignment with who you are, reach out. It is some of the most liberating and freeing work you can do. So my friends, with that, I shall see you next time for some more smart, savvy stories of self-sabotage. And we'll talk to you again soon. All right, bye.